And this episode of Penn Point starts right now. This episode of Penn Point is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook at www.audiblepodcast.com/penpoint. I want to talk a little bit about, under pressure from congressional Republicans, Smithsonian removes controversial ant crucifix video from exhibition. That's what it is. National Portrait Gallery removes ant crucifix picture. Now, Warner Horowitz is an artist who did some stuff against the Catholic Church, and he lost his NEA grant way back in the 80s. And way back in the 80s, I was on Broadway in New York City, and I saw that the NEA grants were being pulled away from Warner Horowitz and a few other people, so I went, Karen Finley and those other people were writing editorials and everything that this was horrible. The Catholic Church was putting pressure on the NEA to take off, and I was in an odd position because I was an atheist and wanted anything that would bring down the Catholic Church I considered to be a good thing, so I wanted to fight against that. But two, I was against the NEA. I was against grants for art, and Penn and Teller had, I'm sure, in order to bust me for hypocrisy, which is always easy to do, you'll be able to find some place we worked, and many of the theaters we work get money and grants from the government. So Penn and Teller are not grant-free as much as we try to claim to be. We turned down in the early part of our career direct grants that would have given us money to do our show. But of course, there's government grants everywhere. Nobody is clean. No one is innocent. So, but in theory, I'm against the NEA. I just don't think that the government should be in the business of picking what artists get money. What I did do was I went over to Warner Horowitz's house. He has since died of AIDS. He was HIV positive and fairly sick at the time the NEA pulled his grant, which I'm not in favor of that, man. And so I went over to his studio because we had mutual friends. My friend Lydia Lunch knew Warner Horowitz, so I got in touch with him. And I introduced myself, and I went over to his house and said, you've lost your NEA grant. Why don't you sell me some stuff? And so I bought a whole series of photographs that forever were up in the in our bathroom. It sounds unfair, but we have a large master bathroom. We had these all his ant series around, which was ants on a pornographic picture of a big dick and ants on the crucifix and several stuff. And then as we had children, and the children started getting a little older, and one day Moxie asked about the ants on the picture. We thought it was inappropriate for young children, so we've taken them down since. And I have the Warner Horowitzes. So I just want to make clear that somebody can say that the Smithsonian putting money into artwork that some of the people who pay for it don't like. The fact that there are Christians who pay taxes in this country and whose money goes to putting up those Warner Horowitz's video, I am on the side of the Christians. If you're spending tax money, that tax money should be spent on things we all approve of. And doing stuff that ridicules the Catholic Church and attacks the Catholic Church, and then using taxpayers' money, taxpayers who are members of the Catholic Church, in order to pay for that is wrong. Now, the Smithsonian, it gets very complicated because the Smithsonian, I'm not sure I'm in favor of there being government museums and so on because of this very issue. But the NEA grant, I was very glad they took it away from Warner Horowitz, because I my parents would not want to see a crucifix with ants all over it, or a large dick with ants all over it, paid for with their money by the NEA that they were forced to pay by taxes. And I certainly don't want any pro-religious art paid for with my tax money. So just stop it. So I just want to make the case that I am totally against the money going to artists, and then the very artists that I think should not be paid for by government money from people. And Catholics sincerely believe their stuff. I disagree with them, but they're people and they're good people and they're sincere. Don't take their money to pay for shit that attacks them. If my attacks on the Catholics are being paid for by government money, that's very, very wrong, because a lot of Catholics are taxpayers and pay a lot of money, and they need to be respected. So I have these Warner Rollwitz's pictures. I paid for them with my money voluntarily, but the NEA should not have paid for them. So that's my position on that. And maybe now that the Warner Rollwitz has been thrown out of the Smithsonian and it's got all this press, maybe the photographs I have are worth more money. Make me an offer. They're good. Audible.com is the leading provider of downloadable digital audiobooks and spoken word entertainment. Audible has over 75,000 titles to choose from to be downloaded to your iPod, MP3 player, and played back anywhere, anytime. Choose from books in every genre: science fiction, thrillers, drama, comedy, business, history, and more. Go to audiblepodcast.com/penpoint to get a free audiobook download of your choice when you sign up today. Again, go to audiblepodcast.com/penpoint for your free audiobook.